Welcome everyone, it's great to have you here today. Once again, we are looking at the pre-alpha version of Trechoro, and today we're going to be having a look at vehicle configurations with part usage. My name's Scott Hebbard. I'm joined today by Stephen Maguire that's going to step us through how we look at some of the vehicle configurations and how part usage works. So welcome Stephen, how are you today?
Very well, thank you, Scott, and thank you for the introduction. Yeah, it's great to be back and talking about this Trechoro product, which is, in my mind, an incredibly good addition to the Sparx tool set. It obviously is the next generation of the SysML language. So SysML 1.5 has now been going to be replaced, or in addition, there's going to be the SysML 2 as well, which is a completely different language in many ways. And the tool Trechoro is Sparx's answer to the challenge of representing those SysML2 models. So just to refresh, Scott, this is, as you said, this is the pre-alpha version. So expect that there might be a few little wrinkles here and there, which will get ironed out as we move towards beta. But the underlying engine is incredibly robust and incredibly solid. I've been using the tool for some time, and yes, there are some little wrinkles, but with every turn, every new build, it gets better and better, and they are small things generally. So just to refresh as well, the SysML2 has this language mechanism called this, part definition and part usage. And here we see an example of it. We've got a vehicle defined as a part def, short for part definition, and under here we have this four-wheel drive utility vehicle, which is a type of vehicle. So we use the KML feature typing relationship there to say that this vehicle, this four-wheel drive utility vehicle, is a type of our vehicle. So we see the same pattern over here. We looked at this a little bit before as well. We've got a fuel tank, a part def, and we've got a part def fuel tank down here. Part usage of the fuel tank down there, and that there is a feature member of our part usage there. So a little bit to digest if you're new to the language, but I think you'll find that it's a very clean and very productive mechanism that you can use across a whole range of things, from interfaces and attributes and use cases, all sorts of things where that mechanism gets used. So what we're going to do today, we had a look at in a previous video of creating a number of part definitions. So they're underneath our definitions package, SysML definitions package there, and we've got our vehicle, which you can see on the screen at the moment. And I can easily look at that by saying, look, locate the current diagram. There it is there. We've got some documentation on that as well. And we've got all sorts of other definitions. So we've got an engine, a starter motor, a cylinder, a body, drive shaft, transmission, fuel tank, an axle, assembly. And some of these have got attributes as well. So the engine's got attributes there, and the vehicle's got a number of attributes as well as perform actions in the case of the vehicle. So look, let's make a start, Scott. And what we're going to do is we've got our model views separate to the elements and relationships that are part of this model. So we're going to create a new model view down here. So we can simply do that by, let's create a new package there, and we'll give it this four-wheel drive utility vehicle. That's the thing that we want to look at. So I'll just create that package there. And let's now create a diagram under that. So using the project browser icon, the third one in there from the left, got new diagram. And if you're new to SysML2, you'll see that these are slightly different from previous versions of UML, of SysML, but we've got this, this general view, state transition view. So there's some similarity there. We're going to go for a general view there, and let's call this view that we want a part tree. So four-wheel drive utility vehicle part tree. Now we can put an underscore in there if we wanted to separate that out. Let's create that diagram. Now we've got a blank diagram, but not to worry. We have some things here that we already had defined, and so I'm going to get this vehicle from this one and the fuel tank. I'm just going to hit the Control-C key on my keyboard, and I'm going to go into this model here and Control-V, and you can see now that these have come in. Now, they look slightly different to just reorganize that. They look slightly different because in this one, this one had these attributes showing. They're not showing in this. So I can simply do that by looking at the compartment visibility, and those attributes are turned on there, and that's not displaying. So some little glitch there might be doing something slightly wrong there. Let me have a look. I might just refresh that diagram. And there it is there. No. So that's one of the little glitches I was talking about, Scott. It's a very trivial thing. We'll get that back to the developers and get that fixed in the next build. We've got our fuel tank there, and let's have a look back at our part definition. That was kind of similar. So let's build up now a vehicle. So this four-wheel drive utility vehicle, and we can simply do that by selecting things from the part definitions here. So I will think I'll choose a starter mode. I might put my fuel tank over to the right because I think that's not as important as we're going along, but I need a starter motor. And so I'm going to drag that starter motor on, and I'm going to put it on as a usage. So not as a link, but as a usage. And now you can see that's got starter motor, and it's of type starter motor. So its name is on the left-hand side, that colon, and on the right-hand side is the part definition that it was applied to. Now I can create a relationship between these two and say, look, this starter motor is part of this vehicle, and I want to have a feature membership of. So that's the relationship there. Now I say, look, I want to put an engine in. So let's grab our engine, do the same thing with that, in as a usage, and and do the same thing. Now, nice thing about the tool, Scott, multi-select these or just lasso them together, use the layout ribbon, and let's just go in the alignment panel there, third one in on the left on the top row, same height and width, and then down here I can say, look, let's align them top. Now I could easily have done that from using the alignment things as well, even though this is quite out of alignment. I can just bring that in, and now all three of those things on that next layer are all aligned there. So
you could drag it to the correct position using the guidelines, or you can use tools to rearrange things. Yeah,
exactly, Scott. So again, let's do this relationship here, and I'll say it's a feature membership of. Now I think, oh gee, I'm going to have to put a few things across here. So what I can do is lasso them again, and I'm using the control key and my left arrow key. I'm going to change the size of these now and make them into a little bit smaller, because I want to try and get a few different things under here. So that's there. Now we can just go ahead now and get the other things. Now the engine is going to need a cylinder, so let's put the cylinder in there as well. And again, a usage, and we'll go okay to that, and you're getting the pattern. So we'll do a feature membership of there again. So building up our tree, very simple to do. Let's multi-select them, same height and width, same position there. Let's space them evenly across now that we've got three of them. And you can see again that if I do this, you'll see how powerful that is again to get them into the right position going across. Again, so we've got some other things. What have we got here? We've got an engine, a vehicle, cylinder. We might want to put the body of the car on there. So let's just put the body there. Again, usage, and let's do that. And let's just put these things on really quickly, Scott. I can put multiple on as well. I haven't tested that in this new version, but that's part of the default behavior of the tool. Let's see if we can do that. We've got a starter motor. We've got that. The axle assembly, we want that as well. Let's just see if we can just drag all of those on at the same time and select for all. So we want to say, yes, we want that going for all, and let's go okay to that. And
did you need to make them as a usage though?
And that's very true, Scott. So I didn't do that. So let's just delete those off the. Lucky I've got a co-pilot. So transmission, drive shaft, body, and
axle assembly.
Axle assembly. And so I'm going to drag them across. And yes, I need to do that, and I need to choose the usage. So I was a little bit too ambitious there, and they're going to go on now as usages. So again, I can just simply look at these and just multi-select them and say, I want to make them all the same size. Now, the one with the stippled border, the one over here, this part one with, you can see it's got that solid
everything
border.
matches that. Yeah,
that's going to be the template. Everything's going to match that, right? So I'll say, okay, let's make them all the same height and width. Let's make them all aligned top, and now let's space them evenly across. So, you know, kind of looking good. They might be a little bit too close to each other. I can drag one of them out to give myself a little bit more space. Again, that one there, and now I can move this guy into and simply just now connect these up, right, with just feature membership of. And that's, you know, pretty easy to go to. I can hit the F3 key, and again, I haven't tested this in this version, and I won't do that actually at the moment. But you can just reuse that reuse that connector without selecting it all the time. And
but you've still rapidly built up the usage for a whole car in just a couple of minutes. So it's
exactly, Scott. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, that's quite a useful thing to do there. Now, just so that you can see that really the power of this is that at the moment we've got our part definitions there. Let's find this diagram in the browser window. So I just click in some space there, go to the little toolbox here and say find in there, and we've got our four-wheel drive utility vehicle there. Now you can see that this four-wheel drive vehicle now has been built up with all of these different things. I've got the body in there twice for some reason. Let's just see whether that one's the one that's in the diagram or not. So very easy to do. You can kind of make mistakes in modeling. I'm doing this reasonably quickly. Right mouse click there, say find in locating the current diagram. There it is there. Wonder what this body one here is. Maybe we locate in the current diagram. I've got two bodies, so I did that twice, Scott. So let's just delete one of those and and again, very easy to do. Let's just I'm zooming out, and I can just realign those like that, and that's good to go. So
very good.
Let's imagine now that instead of this one here, which is a one here you can see is a part usage. So if we got vehicle configurations, four-wheel drive utility vehicle, it's a part usage. So what I can do is create another part usage, so this four-wheel drive utility vehicle, I could put another one in here, and I'll say it's let's say a small family sedan. So again, I can do this a couple of different ways, right? So it's a part usage because I'm reusing the vehicle. So let's do it this way first, and then show you, you know, what's going on. So let's just drag it from there into that position, and let's call this small family sedan. So again, there it is there, and now it's there, but it doesn't have anything in it yet, and also it hasn't been related to the vehicle, so it's not of type vehicle yet. But let's go to our part definition. If we were to drag that onto the palette now, there it is there, part definition. I'm going to make it composite, and that's been done over here. That will, you see at the moment it's got that dash border. This will making it composite. We will change that. And now we want it to
solid one.
we want it to be like an analogous thing to our four-wheel drive utility vehicle. And if you look at this relationship, it's feature typing, which is a CurML relationship. So all we have to do is just say, look, let's do that, and let's make this a feature typing relationship. And there we have it. It's now of type vehicle, and we can do we can do exactly the same thing that we did here. So we had four-wheel drive, model views, four-wheel drive. So let's do that for our family sedan. And I'm just going to cheat a little bit and grab that text. And let's go in here now and create another model view. I'll save this diagram while I've got it open. New package, and I'll make that a capital because it's now a package and not an element. And now we'll create a view under here, and we'll call it a general view and small family. And we did this one here this way. And let's say, you know, create that diagram. And now we can just do exactly the same thing, but we would be reusing the element. So here's our element there, and we will drag that element onto the palette. There it is there, and it's a type of vehicle there. Now we don't have anything redefined, but this is a different vehicle to the other one, and now we can have in here, look at this here and say, look, we want to do a redefinition of the mass. This is vehicle mass. Then if you look at the four-wheel drive one that we had a definition there. Let's go and cheat a little bit, and we'll drag this up here. Drop copy, cancel that. So we've got our redefinition there, and let's do the same thing for this one. Let's redefine our attribute there, that mass one, and we'll do a redefinition of that. Please, oh no, we need to redefine it this way. So this is something new in the tool as well. We're going to create a redefinition there, and it's got mass, and let's put that that value in, and we'll cheat a bit there. So dry mass dot cargo mass. Now remember, if I go plus fuel tank here and I just go mass, we get this. It's not working in that. It's waiting for something to. It's not being resolved there. Let's just leave that out for a minute. I don't think we've got the fuel tank defined for this vehicle. That's the problem. So we don't have that. We don't have the fuel tank defined for this vehicle yet. And we would need to do that. And so we could simply do that. We can start this whole process again. Let's do it for the fuel tank. So we're reusing our part definitions, and we'll just bring that in now. And this will be of type usage, right? And we're going to say that this is a feature membership of, and that's our fuel tank there. Now that has got the mass, and so we could start then to build this out. But we could do exactly the same thing. We're just going to get the engine and reuse the engine thing again. We'll put that on as a usage, and that's good to go there.
So you could build up lots of different types of cars and define them differently. And
exactly, Scott. And this is where the variation comes in. We haven't talked about that a great deal yet, but we'll talk about variants in the tool, so you can say, look, this vehicle is got these variations in it. But there you go. And we could, of course, add a sports vehicle and all sorts of different things. So we're starting to get the sort of the leverage, I guess, and the advantage of creating these part definitions, because we can continue to do that. So that's what I wanted to show today in this video. We're not trying to boil the ocean, as they say, every video. We're just trying to get something done so that people can see how robust the tool is, and how it's how useful it is, and how easy it is to create these models. Another thing, Scott, is that in support of the textual notation, Sparx have taken the position that while we support the textual notation, from our point of view, it's not the central thing that our audience will want to do. Our audience we believe will want to be creating and viewing models as diagrams and other SysML views. So we're focused on that, but we do support the textual notation, and we can go into here and select a package, and let's just say that we want to publish this. I'm going to save this diagram first, just to make sure that everything's okay. Got my definitions package selected there, and I'm going to go into the publish one there, the export, and I'm going to export that to ML. And so it's got all the things that that we've got in there, all the things that we've done. I can select a different package now, and I can go simple vehicle model if you like, and go, let's do that, and we're going to get all the things for our part tree and our vehicle. And I can turn those off and say, I don't want this one in there or not. So then I can say, just simple vehicle model. I'll just choose that one, generate that out, and view that. Close this window, and now you can see, Scott, that textual notation is inside the tool, and I can just simply using tool features, just move that over. And so I've got this advantage. I'll move that guy over, collapse that, and you
You've
can
got
see
diagram view and a SysML text view
exactly
next to each
right
other.
next to each other. Just a little disclaimer: we support the exporting and the importing of that textual view and the ability to look at it inside the model, and that's incredibly powerful. What we don't support at the moment, Scott, is you can't edit this. So if you wanted to say, look, I want to add another part definition here of an axle, short axle or something like that, I can't do that in a text view and have it synchronized with the model view. This is you're looking at things in motion. We're at the pre-alpha. All sorts of things could change by the time we get to beta and production. But our focus is on this idea of having models, which is contained in this word, the systems modeling language. So that's the position that's been taken, and I think being able to view both of these together is a really, really good start in the support for both the textual and the modeling view.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thanks, Stephen, for showing us Trechoro today and showing us how we can do some vehicle configurations with part usage. To all our audience, thanks for joining us. Once again, a number of videos on different Sparx Systems products are available on the Sparx Systems YouTube channel, and you can visit sparxsystems.com for more information on Trechoro. Thanks once again, Stephen. Greatly appreciated. Thanks for your time, and thanks for showing us how easy it is to create various configurations of different vehicles and how we can build these up and support the kind of reuse which makes this tool so powerful.
Always a pleasure, Scott.